government has released names of the 426 organizations targeted by the IRS. Some say the list has been inflated to make it look like conservatives weren't the only groups targeted. With me now, a man who says he has personally been targeted by the IRS. He is president of a group called Citizens for Self-Governance. Mark Meckler, welcome. We are glad to have you here. You say the IRS is trying to conceal they were only going after conservative groups, and one way the department did this is by adding other either neutral or liberal groups so as to dilute the original one. Is that right?
That's correct. And the proof of this is the discovery order of the court itself. The court didn't ask for the list that you're referring to. The plaintiff's attorneys didn't ask for that list. What they asked for is all lists ever used by the IRS in targeting these conservative groups. And in fact, those lists were produced. Over 1,000 individual iterations of those lists were produced, thousands of pages.
So all you had to do was compare the two lists and see that there were a few that were inflated.
In fact, what you see is if you look at the history of the list, the original lists early on that were produced contain only conservative groups. And as it appears the IRS is starting to get in trouble in the scandal, they start to pepper the list with some liberal or progressive leaning groups. So yeah, this is purely a cover-up. This was issued by the IRS to attempt to cover their tracks.
So Mark, you were also personally targeted by the IRS. Is that true?
Well, the local group that I participate in, the local Tea Party group, the NorCal Tea Party, that Tea Party is the named plaintiff in this litigation, and they were targeted. And then in the course of the litigation, our group, Citizens for Self-Governance, is the funder of this litigation. The IRS dragged our group into the litigation. We're not a plaintiff. We're not a party to the litigation. They dragged us in. We had to spend tens of thousands of dollars defending ourselves against scurrilous claims. And what their claims were, somehow our interests were distinct from the plaintiffs, distinct from the Tea Party movement. I go way back in the Tea Party. It's just outrageous. And they were, in fact, excoriated by the court, who said the Justice Department is by no means pursuing justice. They're just delaying and dragging their feet in this case.
So it seems like, at the very least, a big black eye and a big credibility problem for the IRS. Mark, thank you very much for being with us, telling us your story.